Back home, the Supreme Court has asked what's wrong with the government using spyware against anti-national elements. The court's observations came while it was hearing a petition seeking the release of the 2022 expert panel report on the use of the Pegasus spyware. The top court also said the spyware usage can be examined if it targeted civil society members. Now, Ashmit is standing by to take us through the arguments in court. Ashmit.
Well, interesting observations falling from the apex court, the Supreme Court expressing its prima facie view that what's wrong if the government is indeed using spyware, that the only question is who they're using it on, and then supplementing that by saying that if there is a case that is made out that members of civil society are being targeted, that is something that the apex court is willing to look at. But at a broader level, what the Supreme Court, the impression that it's trying to give right now is that there can be no case of compromising national security, especially given the sensitive times that we are in. Now, all of this began when the petitioners made a pitch before the highest court of the country for essentially disclosure of the expert committee findings that were placed in a sealed cover in 2022. Since then, there's been no disclosure of the findings of what really the expert committee had discovered when it took on the devices to investigate whether or not Pegasus had been used. In fact, what we do know, what the small detail that was made public, is that there were devices that were found to have malwares, but it could not be determined whether or not it was Pegasus. It is in this context that the petitioners made a pitch by citing a US court judgment of 2024, saying that this is new evidence. It wasn't available before the expert committee, wasn't available before the Supreme Court, that this judgment very clearly says that it has upheld WhatsApp's allegations against NSO, the maker of Pegasus, for using WhatsApp servers for intercepting as many as 1,400 devices. This, the petitioner says, damning evidence of even Indian devices having been infected, and therefore is seeking a further hearing in this matter, seeking for disclosure of those findings. The centre's position, however, is quite clear. The centre is placing national security on a pedestal and saying that there can be no case of compromising national security and sovereignty. Therefore, no case is made out. However, the Supreme Court said it is willing to think about this and has posted the matter for further hearing on July 30th.
All right, we look forward to that. Thanks very much, Ashmit. Now,